Carlos left El Salvador for the United States because of extortion threats by criminals against his parents. He is lucky because his uncle welcomed him to his house in Maryland and is also paying for a lawyer to help Carlos stay in the United States. Meanwhile, Carlos is attending school where he spoke to VOA about his journey.
It's hard because you get to places you don't know, people you don't know. You go days without eating. You're in very bad places.
After crossing the U.S.-Mexico border, he was detained by immigration officials.
I spent about 10 days in one of those immigration places known as refrigerators, which is a very cold room, and you don't have a sweater. You have nothing.
Homeland Security officials estimate some 68,000 unaccompanied minors crossed the border in 2014. Many of them reported being victims of sexual harassment, physical violence, and threats along the way. But crossing the border is not the only challenge. Getting documentation to stay in the country is also difficult, say social workers.
At some point, they'll be in front of a judge, and families do not have the funds or the knowledge of where to find these services.
One option is to get asylum status, but proving a reasonable fear of persecution is complicated.
We usually try to get witnesses who can verify the child's history. We also present evidence of conditions in their country.
According to the Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, 2 out of 3 minors go to the immigration courts without legal representation. Of those without attorneys, 9 out of 10 children are deported. In the case of Carlos Rodriguez and his fellow Salvadoran friend Diego Zamora, they are attending school while waiting for their immigration court hearing. But adjusting to a new life is not easy.
I had a teacher who was kind of a racist. He would get angry because I did not know English and I didn't know what to do.
Schools are affected by the influx of immigrant children. That is the case of the public schools in Montgomery County, Maryland, which are short of money to meet the needs of some 300 new arrivals, mostly from Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala.
When there is an increase in the number of students, you have to provide more teachers and more academic services, so it does affect the budget.
Even though Carlos and Diego go to school every day, and authorities know of their presence, their future depends on whether the immigration court grants them amnesty. For producer Angélica Herrera, I'm Brian Allen, VOA News, Washington.